Good evening, fam. This is Professor Bobo here, bringing you NGS Division A East. This is week 2, Team Dynamics versus sponsored by Rory. Joining me tonight will be Famous. Famous, thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Right on. Let's see. Let's get the maps, picks, and bands out of the way right now. Our bands, Team Dynamics removed Tomb of the Spider Queen. Sponsored by Rory, removed Towers of Doom. As you guys can see from the first map highlighted here, we will be headed to the NGS special Infernal Shrines. That will be followed up by Dragonshire. First map belongs to Team Dynamics. Let's go ahead and get our rosters up there. I am personally familiar with both of these teams. As you can see, I worship at the altar of Smithel. Last season, Raven was a player of mine for down to Division C. Right now, both of these teams, as you can see from the crawler on the bottom of the standings, both of these teams at the bottom of Division A East. It's important that both teams are obviously picking up points, and I'm curious tonight if we're going to see something famous, maybe a little special. Maybe somebody's going to get desperate to pick up the 2 points tonight.
Yeah, hopefully we see some nice cheeses or something, something flashy.
Just something, I don't know, maybe a little aggressive, maybe stepping out of the meta a little bit here. Changes for NGS this season, for anybody who's not aware, there are more teams per division, but there are also twice as many teams making the playoffs. So while we have both of these teams down towards the bottom of Division A right now, a couple of wins will start to creep you up towards that all-important 8th spot. Taking a quick run of form here. As you can see, previously both of these teams 0-2 in the first weeks, but Famous, your player here too. 1 week to another, never that big of a deal if you can make those adjustments, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you have a couple early games early on. Right? Our team last season, I think we lost our first couple or got some draws, but then came back second half of the season, didn't drop any maps, so people can turn it around for sure.
Absolutely, man. All right, and let's just touch on our keys to the game real quickly. As we talked about previously, teams get desperate, looking to make adjustments. Right now, just to quickly highlight, my buddy Raven, who played Assassin for me this year, switching over to support. Kayla, thank you for the subscription. Holy moly, we're going to have to talk about that later tonight. That is numero uno.
Congratulations.
I'm flustered and flattered. Thank you. So some changes going on. Again, plays like Raven jumping over to support. Right now, sponsored by Rory, undergoing a change at the front line, bringing in Ager bombs to tank for them. So different things going on. So keep an eye on the cohesion. The CC chain. See if we can see in game what we assume is going on over comms. And then for a second point, I bring this up every time I have, sponsored by Rory. Sylvanas by Rory. Aura, the Banshee Queen herself. It is always a threat. No matter where Sylva is in the meta, it's an option, and it's something that they'll pick early, something they'll pick late, something they'll build around. So it breaks maps. And here in Infernal Shrines, if they go with it, it could have a pretty big impact.
Especially on Infernal Shrines. You get John Cena over that wall, disable those structures, and you can get an early GG with a Sylvanas pick.
I'm hoping for this AA carry Sylv. Sylvanas players and Sylvanas mains are this really cool little breed where they will vociferously defend their Sylvanas pick on any map, in any comp, and in any situation. And the last thing we want to just bring up, we're looking at the offlane highlight. Spooky Hands, I'm curious where Leoric falls. Both of these teams over the course of last week, credit to the scouting reports by Zadolv there, were willing to play Sonya, Blaze, Dahaka, and Leo. Famous, I don't know about you, but I've been seeing Leoric move up just because he just seems like he bodies everybody right now.
Yeah, I think he was the sleeper for a long time. I mean, last season we picked him every other game, I want to say. Felt like if you didn't get the Sonya, the Leoric was a pretty good counter to the Sonya. He had good wave clear, really good sustain, and then late game that damage reduction is just so dirty.
All right, on. And we are about to head on into draft here. Again, our first map will be Infernal Shrines. The map choice of Team Dynamics, so sponsored by Rory. We'll have our first pick. The meta's been Maiev and Phoenix. Do you expect anything different here? Or are you...
You see a rare Medivh band come out pretty early, or possibly a Hanzo. Yeah, see a little bit of everything. I'd say right now,
I,
but
the
mid
the Phoenix Hanzo split is very interesting to me.
yeah,
Just in that Hanzo sort of became that hyper carry you could run.
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
yeah, and then I see Phoenix really as like the new sort of Vala. You can run him in task comps and Medivh comps. He's got everything: wave clear, camp clear, single target burst, AOE. So
Yeah,
that's very interesting to me, and I'm just actually curious because we played you guys last year. Where are you guys fitting? Feeling the top of this draft?
yeah. If it was us in the handlebars here, I'd probably go with the Phoenix band personally. I think he's just that jack of all trades. Uh, not obviously not from the first pick team from the other one. They're gonna go for a Diablo ban, so maybe an early Garrosh, lock up those priority tanks.
I like it. Diablo works very well into the other two heroes that we talked about. He works very well into Maiev and Phoenix. He's just a
So,
good tank in this meta, and a great map for him.
yeah, he's Infernal Shrines. I would say is in fact his best map. Able to
Oh, don't
dive over that wall, help out John Cena, and then the wall bangs on around the shrine are really strong.
don't do it, Raven.
It
Don't
could be
do it.
just a taunt, this early out.
I don't do it.
They got 30 seconds.
The one benefit to this is sometimes if you
Oh,
ignore if you ignore the two quote unquote OP heroes, if that's the way the meta goes, you can guarantee yourself one of them right now.
hmm And I mean, like, it's a fair point considering you're assuming here they'd pick the Garrosh, given the Diablo ban as well.
Hmm.
So you kind of get your pick of maybe you want to make sure you get a Malfurion or Stukov, and then one of the main DPS. So they go with the
See,
Phoenix. All
there's
right.
Phoenix, and now you have Maiev and Stukov or Garrosh available.
hmm
It's interesting. Again, now that's a targeted ban, but at the same time, as we talked about, depending on how each team feels the meta is going, they may look at the meta and say, well, if we let heroes through, we will have more of the S or A tier heroes.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
it's just, do you get the synergies here with this 2-3 pick?
Yeah, I mean, right now most teams look at Malfurion and Stukov as kind of the S tier in the support role, and then Diablo and Garrosh in the support role. So if they were to pick up one of each here, I would think that's a pretty reasonable move, considering the next two picks will then go to Team Dynamic before the ban phase, so they could get locked out of either of those options if they don't do that here.
Hmm.
But then they don't get that Maiev, which you were talking about. So,
What's your preference here? I would like to see the Maiev
oh, that's
and
the
the
Maiev.
Stukov.
So I really hope Team Dynamic picks up that Garrosh, or if they plan to, unless they plan to ban it out themselves, and then pick up maybe a preferential tank like an ETC if that's what they like.
I don't expect him to make it all the way back around for sure.
No, yeah,
But that Maiev Stukov, that Maiev Stukov rotation, when she's available, has just got to be almost assumed at this point at higher levels of play.
yeah, and it's so terrifying. Just the pull into the silence and the Warden's cage later on. There's so much synergy between the two heroes.
And the Malf reduction on the healing, I think it wound up being like a 5% reduction on Malfurion's healing. Not
Garrosh.
a big deal, but it does push Stukov up. Yep. What's happening, War Chief?
Yeah, I like that skin too. Always looks so angry. It's good.
I'd like to see a flex pick here. I feel like going with the offlaner or going with the support isn't necessary. Okay, they do go with the Malf.
Yeah, I was just concerned because if they didn't get the Malf here, I would anticipate the ban, and then they'd be left over with, their choice of Uther or Rhaegar, but not that top tier healer. So I like that pick from them.
But when I see this Malfurion pick here, the one thing just to keep an eye on in game is whether or not Nature's Cure is getting value. That's always to me where the separation comes between Malfurion players. Are you able to get that pseudo quasi cleanse?
Yeah,
It's
I mean
it's hard.
I think it's his biggest, yeah, definitely his biggest skill cap part of his kit. I mean, the ice block, getting value out of that, and then obviously the Twilight Dream. But the root placement's pretty basic, and I think most mouths kind of get a hand of that.
That's true. And the rotations with regrowth, not difficult. That's a comms thing, in my opinion. Whether or not you guys are making that check. But you don't have a hard cleanse. You don't have that burst heal.
Yeah.
That's again, that's what separates the mouth players.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. There's the Jaina ban, so they're looking to get rid of that blow up damage.
A little surprising in that I don't know how you feel, but I feel like Jaina Maiev is a gross, gross combo that should have
Absolutely.
been looked at.
It hints to me they might have a plan for their own DPS.
Thinking of Kel'Thas?
Maybe. Let's take a look at their previous damage picks. We've seen Jaina, Sylvanas, Valid, Jaina again, Tychus, Hanzo, Tracer. So yeah, the only mage they've shown is the Jaina. So yeah, it's definitely a weird, weird band then.
I'd like to see a. I'd almost like to see the Hanzo ban here.
Yeah, Hanzo makes a lot of sense. Really good on the shrines, good wave clear.
Good against
Really
Garrosh.
threatened,
Yeah.
yeah, really threatened Garrosh with the armor reduction.
I've never been able to wrap my head around this. Hanzo has at like pro level something like a 20% lower win rate on Infernal Shrines, and
Really?
it never matters to anybody. Shout out to Jay how he brings it up every single time Hanzo's picked on this map, but it never deters anyone. And now we're looking at the possibility where Hanzo is the range.
Mm. Yeah, he is like, yeah, definitely the choice here from in my books. Big threat to the Garrosh, and I like you said, he's 20% lower win rate on the shrines. I would have thought it would have been much higher considering he has really good shrine control.
And you have a variety of builds you can go with. I don't think any build on Hanzo is wrong here. I anticipate it, but again, the Kilthos would not surprise me.
With the Maiev and the Stukov, for
Yeah.
sure, it makes a lot of sense.
You've got enough bodies where Kael'thas will. Whenever Kael'thas can be the furthest ranged hero in your comp,
Hmm.
then I think it's worth considering.
What do we think about for main tank from Team Dynamic here?
I would hold it. They
Ooh,
go Blaze
Tyrael Blaze.
Tyrael. Okay.
All right.
I'm a little curious what's going to be paired with this Phoenix because you could just have a Medivh and everything gets thrown out the window. But the Tyrael Blaze rotation, real good here. I assume Tyrael will be the main tank and Blaze in the offlane.
Stands to reason for sure. A lot of safety for whoever they pick is that backliner with
So
the
now,
sanctification and the bunker.
yeah, the bunker just obviously always something good to remove, and Sanct for the cage itself. But again, we talked about it in the pregame. Do you just go Leo, and who wins that matchup?
It's got to be a Leo.
Sonya available too, but maybe not with this sort of passive, throw and isolate sort of comp.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they both have their value. You get a little more merc control from the Sony as well. I mean, Malthael is also an option, very strong with the Blaze.
Hmm.
Um,
I would
a
love,
little less popular though.
I would love to see Medivh here, just for fun.
Yeah, Medivh's always a good time.
What do we got, Rory?
Hanzo,
Hanzo
Dahaka.
They take the Hanzo. Interesting.
And
So
they want the global advantage. So looking at the
hmm,
macro side of things.
I'd like to see how long this pick goes because every second that ticks away leads me to believe that the last pick Hanzo was going to be a thing.
I mean, if they wanted the Hanzo, I think they needed to pick it up in that 3-4 rotation. Left the Tyrael for last pick if that's what they wanted to go.
Are we missing anything here? Is Vala actually an option? I would be afraid.
Yeah, into Hanzo and
Dahaka?
Phoenix, like that's a lot of auto attack damage threatening you. Then you have the Garrosh with the potential taunt or the throw, and then Dahaka on your flank. I wouldn't like to see the Vala. I think she'd be a kind of a liability here.
Hmm. And now another pick such as a mage pick such as Kael'thas is going to be under threat from the Dahaka invade.
What do you think about a Cassia? You got lots of blinding opportunities.
It turns you into a hard all-in comp. I like
Hmm.
that. Okay,
Junkrat.
Junkrat.
Oh, okay,
So
that makes sense too.
a quote unquote hyper carry Junkrat.
Yeah. Yeah, good shrine control coming out from them though.
I like the Cassia
Junkrat.
call. No,
Yeah.
it's very interesting. It just it sort of signals we're coming. We're not going to stop until one of these teams is are all off the map.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting. I just like Junkrat. It's fun. It's a little silly.
He's unbelievably frustrating to play against, but he's a lot of fun to play, and he does a great job.
But again, I'm going to keep an eye. That might be for the post game. I'm curious about that Hanzo. We'll see if that. Maybe we'll get to ask if that was the pick. So we're headed to our first map here. This once again, Team Dynamics versus sponsored by Rory here on Infernal Shrines. The first game of our set. NGS Division A East, Week 2. Both teams looking for their first points of the season.
You gotta pick a draft. Which one would you go with?
I think I got to take Rory.
Yeah.
I like the. I just want to see what Hanzo Phoenix does. I'm wondering if Junkrat is going to be enough on his own.
Yeah, I think that's probably a safe bet. Just go with sponsored by Rory. I think their comp is a lot easier to execute. And then on the side of team dynamics, just getting the synergy between the Blaze and the Tyrael to work can be pretty tricky. And then their DPS isn't really that high. There's a lot of burden on that Maiev.
All right.
Pick up the slack. So.
4 sponsored by Rory. Agerbombs will be playing the Garrosh. Aura will be on the Dahaka. Blue Laguna on the Hanzo. Starfox 64 will be playing the Phoenix. And our dear and fluffy Lord Smithel on the Malfurion.
There you go. On Team Dynamics, we have Captain Murmask on Tyrael, Raven X on the Stukov. We have Daribo on Maiev, Summer Ash on Blaze, and Tempest will be playing Junkrat.
W build Hanzo. Already picking up 4 stacks. Okay. And Q build so far for Phoenix.
Yeah, what if maybe... Actually, no, the scatter would just make a lot of sense.
I mean, it's...
pressure that front line too much.
It's interesting. Given the tank selection material, are you really going to get a ton of value out of Redemption? That is something to be considered. So, listen, it's more Shrine Clear, more Camp Clear, more AoE damage. We'll see how this one plays out.
Garrosh looking for a throw. Nope. Won't pull the trigger on that.
And Rory comfortable leaving the Phoenix.
You see the 4-man rotation coming out from Dynamic. I think that's probably a strong decision.
Already falling a little bit behind NXP, is sponsored by Rory.
Top lane trade is pretty much even for the moment.
It's going to be the endless battle. Dahaka
Yeah,
Blaze.
sure. Not a lot of kill potential from either one.
Looks like Team Dynamics thinking about their camp to start with. Keep an eye on the XP here. Both teams close. We'll see if sponsored by Rory can pick up an extra wave or 2. Looks like they're comfortable with the XP soak.
And they're going to get this camp for free before it gets scattered out. So good play coming up from Dynamics.
Our first shrine will be here in the bot lane. Neither team with any real kill pressure right here. We'll go peek up on the top. Or in Summer Ash. Floating around half, 2/3 health.
Garrosh with a throw into Tyrael mid lane, but Tyrael just Eldrin's right out of there.
It's Tyrael, we didn't miss anything. I bet he hit Q.
Yep. Pretty much covers it.
And right now, Tempest, our resident NGS journalista, has positioned himself for bot camp. Keep an eye on Aegir bombs here. We'll float up a little bit. We'll see if the Garrosh smells this out.
There's the Hanzo arrow.
It should be a 3v3 fight here.
Malfurion and Maiev are on the way.
Good throw in the Stukov, but limited follow-up.
Very low.
We'll see if this concussion mine winds up paying off here. As Aegir bomb's about 40% health. He eats the silence. Daribo going to track him down. There's the E in. Does not blink for the shadow.
Ooh, Maiev getting very low. Shield to keep him up for the moment.
Well
there
played by... Yeah. Well
Phoenix
played by
does so much
Starfox.
damage.
That's the Q. I'm interested to see where this build winds up going as well. We'll take a peek at the level 4 talents here. Just highlight there for the Phoenix. He'll go with Emergency Protocol, so he takes the extra speed. Part of me hoping for that blinky Phoenix build, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of fun to watch for sure.
Half stacks already for Hanzo.
Dynamic will clean up that bottom camp.
And sponsored by Rory here. We'll set up Starfox and Smithel here on the shrine. Very good control, particularly with the Aegir bombs there. Gets the throw on the Maiev. He'll have to walk his way out.
Might be in some trouble.
I'm not sure he's going to be able to proc the Unstoppable there. And the concussion mine with the save. There's a quick mistake. Aura with the backline pressure. And Team Dynamics will back off. I'd like to see the all-in from Blaze. Summer Ash there missing on the jet propulsion. Starfox with limited health. And Smithel with a big Moonfire, keeping his Phoenix alive.
This is a 5v5. No one is split-sucking at the moment.
We got a quick
Skull advantage still over to sponsored by Rory, but closing quickly.
Team Dynamics is okay on resources. Tyrael a little bit low on mana. They did not feel the need to tap there. This is going to be the fight for the punny. Captain Murmask pushed out. He's low health. Starfox wants to chase for that kill. And I believe sponsored by Rory is going to cap this. Sunrise with a big problem. There is yet another Junkrat mine that the effectiveness has to be questioned.
There's no way he gets that. He does. Wow.
Wow. Aura escapes, and Captain Murmas looks like he will get chased down there.
So a 2 for nothing all in all, and the Punisher going over.
A bit of a sloppy fight. And we're gonna have to keep an eye on the concussion mines. I believe they canceled a kill on the first proc, and in that second concussion mine, I think the Chaos actually benefited. Sponsored by Rory there, just launching everybody out and about.
And they're choosing to soak both other lanes, so they're going to take an XP advantage from this as well.
I would have liked to have seen a little bit more siege with the Phoenix.
Yeah.
Junkrat does deter that, but when you have Garrosh Phoenix, I think that might have been a quick fort. Keep an eye on.
Might go in. No, just gets it out.
Tyrael should be okay.
So successful invade from sponsored by Rory.
16
Blaze
stacks.
top.
Yep.
Doing stuff.
16 stacks here on Hanzo W. Thus far, 11 stacks for Phoenix's level 1. Slow goings thus far for Blaze up top.
Phoenix starts their Kozra camp.
A half-level lead out of the Punisher is now ballooned into a level and a half, so level 10 will be picked up for Sponsored by Rory before the next Shrine phase. Team Dynamics here is going to have to look for either the triple soak, and just sort of let the next one go, or some sort of play. Let's see if Aegerbomps can find himself a target here.
They could look for a fight pre-10, but Blaze is on an island all by himself versus that Tahaka, so might not be the wisest decision.
I don't think the Garrosh is going to give it to them. I mean, that is obviously the strength of the hero. Anytime you can just self-cleanse and walk away,
Yep, pretty
you're
good.
in a pretty darn good position not to have that Vice Force on you. Aegerbomps here coming in with a throw into Maya. The jump and the blink, well played by Darabo there. Level 10 about to come online for Sponsored by Rory.
Raven X is sniffing out his Shaman camp. Looks like they're going to start that.
Let's see these 10 talents when they come in. I don't expect anything out of the ordinary. Twilight Dream picked up. Dragon Arrow, Warlord's Challenge. Keep an eye on the Dahaka pick. Purification Salvo.
Isolation. Yeah.
Oh,
there's
and
a
the
Hanzo
arrow! I apologize. I didn't see that baby flying.
Yeah, that was ambitious. Pre-10 though, it's free.
Well, took a little wave at Tempest there. I believe Sponsored by Rory is going to be in a pretty darn good position here to go ahead and pick up this second Punisher. It should be the 30-second timer should come up soon. An ambitious arrow to say the least, but I don't believe it's going to hurt in the long run.
No. Cooldowns are still bugged, eh? That's bad.
Yeah, the bane of Caster's existence right now. We'll keep an eye on it, but the only thing that we did see used was Dragon Arrow. Again, it should be up for this Punisher phase. Level and a half lead.
Sponsored by Rory going to their own Shaman camp now, timing it perfectly with the objective. I think that's a wise decision.
Good safe play here from Team Dynamics. They will actually pick up the 10. And
yeah, they were able to soak that, eh? Wow.
They'll have their even talent here fight. I thought there'd be a little bit more pressure coming out from Sponsored by Rory. Aegerbomps has been sharking for a good throw, but given that the only person showing face is Captain Muramask on that Tyrael, there has been limited opportunities.
Yeah, just doing a good job anchoring, making sure team isn't getting a snick up on.
For Team Dynamics, we see Massive Shove, Riptire, Bunker, Sanctification, and Ward's Cage. All standard picks here. Aegerbomb's looking to get a throw off. He's only got the Tyrael. The Concussion Mine comes out. Keep an eye on that cooldown.
Dream.
Big step up from Smithel, and he's going to find himself stuck on the Warden's Cage. This is going to be a huge play for Team Dynamics. That's 4 kills, and Star Fox, do you even get out? There's the warp. Everything coming off of the T-Dream into the cage. That was an ambitious play there by Smithel on the Malfurion, and bold move didn't quite pay off.
Yeah, I mean, that Warden's Cage into the Sanctification just was so perfect.
Well played.
Negated so much damage.
Let's see if T Dynamics stalls, or do they pick up here? Sitting on 39, they'll go ahead and grab this Punisher. This will be the Frozen Punisher. I'd like to see them certainly open up a wall here.
If they get that sidewall open, they might be able to pressure with the Immortal, but it doesn't look...
Keep an eye on Mouth.
Go in.
2 tethers, Mouth and Phoenix. No follow-up as Daribo will have to retreat
Good
out.
Jump.
Opportunity there.
Garrosh is in a lot of trouble.
He still had the unstoppable there. He saved it for the jump, but if the Punisher has another jump coming, he is in big trouble. Aura with the backside flank. And the team's trading out damage here. Does anybody want to commit to this fort? Keep an eye on the tongue from the Dahaka.
Just misses. Hanzo arrow comes out. Throw into stun.
And Daribo takes the shield. Does he get out? Tyrael, you...
No way.
Oh, ho, 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 ho. Aegerbomb's eating the Riptire. He's going to go down to the Raven X.
Dreams out.
Stukov AA. And teams trading cooldowns, but only Garrosh going down.
I'd like to see them finish this fort before doing anything else, but they're going to rotate to the marks instead.
If they're going to take this fort, they had... Or excuse me, if they're going to take this camp, they had better go for that fort. Captain Murmes, by the way, with that quick Tyrael shield, kept the Maiev alive. That wound up leading into the Garrosh kill.
Would like to have seen the HP count on that Daribo. There has been several times where they've narrowly escaped on the side of Dynamics.
He's done a really good job of keeping his Vault on cooldown. Vault Blink combos just to go ahead and get out. 13's online for both teams. This was a 1.5 lead for sponsored by Rory. Team Dynamics with that Shrine Capture and Punisher close the XP gap.
Ora's doing a great job split soaking as much as she can, though, safely enough. Staying in those bushes.
Now we see Tempest on the Junkrat hopping up here.
Should be an easy fort.
Hanzo used jump here. I'd like to see Maiev just put a little bit of pressure on him.
Yeah, all they'd have is the root for the save, so...
They may be trading force here. Keep an eye on bot lane.
Bottom lane.
The team's just kind of feeling it out. 5 kills to 3 in favor of Team Dynamics. Over 4 of them came on that damn good Warden's Cage Sanctification combo. This has the looks of a long game.
Pretty even in terms of experience, considering the structural disadvantage.
Taking a quick peek at our stats here. Phoenix lagging a little bit behind the Hanzo. Starfax has been under pressure here. And there's the jet propulsion by Summer Ash.
Just backs right off.
Just a little hey, how you doing?
Yeah, Aura's all alone in that top, so they're going to be getting a slight XP advantage.
We do have top shrine up next. And I'm curious as to see whether one team feels like they have the ability to lay out. Dahaka is top already, so the burrow will not be a factor.
They will have the opportunity to grab their shaman camp before the shrine. Wouldn't be a bad idea for Dynamics to threaten that and pressure them away from their camp.
These teams will likely hit 16 at about the same time. I don't believe it'll come here during the shrine phase unless we see a couple of kills ripped off.
Depends where Aura goes. If she cycles down to the mid or bottom lane and gets some XP soak, she can hop in whenever.
She has time. Team Dynamics does not have great shrine clear.
They're getting some structural damage up top here.
Absolutely. Very good silence coming out there. Aura taps. Keep an eye on that tap on the Dahaka. The Dragon Arrow. Oh, boy. That's what, everything. The second or third sort of speculative arrow? If I'm Team Dynamics here, I'm looking to pick a fight.
For sure. That's a huge cooldown down.
The T-Dream comes through. It's going to hit 3 members. However, the silence is there. There's the Warden's Cage. It hits no one to sink. Oh, and then a blank synced as well.
She's going to be forced back.
Cooldown's traded there. A little bit of a missed engage. Jet propulsion going out. Yeah, does she get the pull there? Remember, she's tapped. She does not have an adaptation either, and there goes Dahaka. Yeah,
the team sponsored by Rory should probably cut their losses here and just go soak some other lanes, which they will do.
The first 2 out of 3 of these shrine phases have started with an early Twilight Dream, and even that time, although Spittle did hit 3 members, I believe he got Blaze, Maiev, and Tyrael, it just didn't have value because he's the furthest person forward right now. He and Aegerbomb's a little bit off in terms of their positioning. Limited follow-up on those T-Dreams has been a big problem, and once that cooldown's blown, you see Team Dynamics going hard. Even though this time they did not pick up that 4-man kill combo, it was enough to zone out, and they'll pick up this Punisher, and with level 16, they're heading down top lane.
Yeah, any point where a Malfurion's in the front line, even to hit a nice Twilight Dream, still leaves them very exposed if you don't win that fight immediately. So, you gotta be really careful about that.
It's aggressive. They don't, sponsored by Rory doesn't really have the Bruiser to follow up that kind of play, and both of their, damage healers being range, low health.
Tanks the John Cena jump, not the Garrosh. Oh, you like to see some miscommunication there.
Should be a wall and nothing more. As we see this Punisher get pulled down south.
Oh, looks like they might be posturing for the fight.
I believe Warden Cage is going to be off cooldown. There was a Riptide. No, they have the cage, the pull, the Riptide that hits 3 members. Mouth is gone. And
Dream was interrupted.
oh, Phoenix was instantly deleted. That is
This
4 kills and
game.
Team Dynamics. Finish. Gotta finish here.
Go core.
You don't have a map yet. You've got no threat in other lanes. It's just Hanzo. You better go get this.
Yeah, congratulations on Team Dynamics' first map win of Season 4.
Well earned. 2
Yeah, absolutely.
big combos. There's a Sanctification on core that will guarantee this game out.
Honestly, these fights just came down to heroic use. I think they got so much value out of that Warden's Cage and those Sanctifications, as opposed to the Hanzo maybe missing some of those arrows and then not enough follow-up on those Twilight Dreams.
Absolutely, and we talked about it in the pregame. Teams looking to make adjustments, teams maybe making some different plays. We talked about specifically Raven moving on over to support with some other changes. It might not have had that big, massive impact that you were looking for, but they're good silences. You look at the heal output; he wound up doubling up Malfurion there, and he played patiently.
Always good positioning coming up from our dynamic support player.
Absolutely.
Always safe in the backside, getting those silences like you mentioned. Ori did a good job pressuring him, but she was usually isolated there by herself because the fights didn't last long enough.
Yes.
She got him down pretty low, but they weren't able to finish her off.
And we talked about the speculative, if you will, dragon arrows.
Yeah.
I don't think we got any impact out of those plays.
I think there was a re-engaged used for a Hanzo arrow early or about midway through the game, which did result in a couple of kills. So some good plays, but also the two missed. The first one, not the end of the world. It's pre-10. The other team at level 8, so they didn't have their heroics anyways. But the second one definitely was very costly.
I agree. So once again, Team Dynamics picking up their first map of the season. We'll be headed to Dragonshire for game number 2. This is the map choice of sponsored by Rory. Let's go ahead and get everybody up in our lobby. Changes you want to see here for game 2 from either side?
I was gonna say before watching the game that I thought Team Dynamics was gonna need a little bit more damage on their in their draft, but clearly they had enough coordination to pull it off without it. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of liked what I saw in terms of drafting from both teams. I mean, Merc timings were a little bit off for Team Dynamic, but sponsored by Rory did a very good job with that. What about you? Any thoughts?
I have to agree. I was also skeptical of the sort of that carry Junkrat, but the stellar play and the combinations, again, 2 team fights, really all that it took there. And
yeah, I mean,
that did it.
Huge Rip Tires, huge Warden's Cage, huge Sanctifications, like just stellar play coming out from their heroic management.
And even the team fight, even the wombo that they missed top lane on that last Punisher was not something that could have been punished because no Dragon's Arrow at that point. T-Dream had just been used. Shout out to Murda, by the way, my boy. Thank you for the host. So even the one that they missed, it was okay. I mean, that's really all you can say about it. Again, if you're going to trade those cooldowns, go for it. They wound up having them back up for the keep, use them effectively. And again, they really picked on Smithel's positioning there. A number of Malfurion kills, and once he was off the board, they were able to snowball those fights.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so let's check in on our team, see if everybody's ready. Once again, we're heading to Dragonshire for map number 2 of this Division A East matchup. Again, week 2, Team Dynamics versus sponsored by Rory. Team Dynamics has already claimed their first point of the season. Sponsored by Rory's pick here, though. Let's see what they have planned as we head into draft for game number 2. I like Dragonshire. I'm happy we get to go here. It's been banned out probably 3 of the last games or sets that I've been able to cast.
Well, my 2 other favorite maps were banned by the other teams tonight. No Tomb and Tower.
No Tomb and Towers.
I'll settle for the Dragonshire.
And the just a little interesting wrinkle here. The laning phase for Dragonshire should play out very similarly to what we saw in Infernal Shrines.
Yeah, you really see that Soul Laner off on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe depends if they pick up an early Genji pick or a Falstad, they can kind of shark around that mid lane and come up every once in a while for a gank. But usually that Soul Laner is kind of on his own.
Fairly standard drafts. There wasn't too much that I actually believe needed to be changed. I think it was just more a question of execution in that first game.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I was more suspect of Dynamics draft, but they played it perfectly.
I
So
agree. Again, once again, just absolutely impressed with that front line coordination. Um,
Hanzo Ban.
Phoenix, Garrosh, and Maiev, all incredible picks, especially on the 4-man rotation on this.
Absolutely.
Remember,
Hanzo particularly is strong on Dragonshire as he has the mobility to jump between mid and bot lane, and then also really excellent mercenary control, which is so powerful in that bottom lane.
he's got
So good pick.
everything. He's got vision, he's got delay, he's got range. This, in my opinion, might be his best map. Is an
Instant
insta.
Phoenix.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I like the confidence shown there.
Didn't even have to think about it. I'm still hoping to get that warp reset Phoenix play.
Yeah, I'd love to see that actually.
The tendency with Phoenix comps is to build comps that are going to protect him, but the second that you snap that Phoenix in as your first pick, I do believe that the proper response is dive on the right side. And if you don't have the defensive comp ready, and maybe if you get choked out of it, go for the aggression.
Strong CC is a really good counter towards Phoenix. So actually, sponsored by Rory, removing Maiev might have been a bit of a favor for Team Dynamics here.
I don't think they wanted to see it.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
I don't think they wanted that.
Last game.
I think you could safely assume that they were expecting that Maiev first pick, and they did go with letting the Phoenix up. They do go with Stukov and Garrosh.
So if they want that S tier tank and healer, it'll have to be chosen here in the Malfurion and the Diablo.
Is that what we expect? The Mouth Diablo?
That's what I would guess, but I mean, it depends though.
Johanna an option as well.
For sure. Johanna actually very strong in Dragon Chair. Good wave clear. I know from last season, you as well as myself really like that ETC, so maybe we'll see some of that.
He falls off, and I think the big issue with ETC right now is that there's too many hit points going around in these drafts. A lot of your flex heroes, particularly Maiev, I mean, her effective HP pool, I think, is larger than ETC's when you...
I wouldn't be that surprised.
I feel like it is. Like, once you start scaling into those armor talents, even though ETC does have his own... Okay, Mouth Blaze. They like the Blaze from the first game. They'll go to back it up in the second game here. That's where ETC struggles. You just got a low hit point pool, and without Uther, I think he struggles.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. He plays maybe better, not so much in that engage tank as he was before, but in the peel role, just using more of the bumps to protect maybe a poke comp.
The one thing about ETC is he's like the NA default tank.
It's true. Not the rest of the world doesn't share that love as much. They like their Anub'arak a little bit more.
Or the Muradin. I've always felt like the EU default was Muradin, and the NA default was ETC. And it always kind of played out that way. You always see teams. What's the tank that we want to go for? Just take the ETC.
What do you think about this ban here? Maybe the Diablo? Choke out the Warriors a little bit?
If you let the Diablo go... Okay, they take the Joe. I was going to say, if you let the Diablo go, I would immediately think about grabbing that Tychus.
Some percent-based damage pressured on that Diablo.
Just to make him think about
really
it.
Heavy front line, yeah.
Yeah, just make him think about not picking that Diablo. If that is the fear, you've taken the Johanna away, so Diablo is the natural counter. ETC forces you to play more of a kite style in team fights.
So we haven't seen a Medivh come out from Team Dynamics yet this season, but Medivh Diablo in their 4-5 would be like a pretty strong draft.
Phoenix works exceptionally well with Medivh.
Yeah, just a little bit of shielding for him on top of what he already has is pretty powerful.
And most guys building into the added move speed once the shield is gone at level 4. I apologize, I forget the name of that talent off the top of my head. There's always a couple of safe options for Phoenix that you can sort of play into if you feel like you need them. And I mean, Medivh Malfurion, that's just oppressive on its own.
Yeah, for sure.
I would really like to see. I would almost. Do you go all in with Tychus and Leoric here?
I was gonna say I think this might be your spooky hands prediction finally coming out with Blaze and Sony already off the market. I think he is number 3 unless we're gonna see that Dahaka again, which is very strong on Dragonshire as well, able to collapse on that bottom shrine quite quickly.
I don't mind the Dahaka. I just feel like here in this situation with Garrosh, I don't feel like Dahaka Garrosh is great. It's obviously going to be the kind of thing where if you play it right, you've got to kill. But you have once the CC is gone on both of those tanks, they're going to just stand there and eat damage.
I mean, the other thing is Dahaka and Garrosh tend to attack on different angles, and then the Garrosh, obviously, like you said before, throws into the team as opposed to the Dahaka, who's coming on a flank and has to drag all the way through. So they're a little bit of counter synergy.
Agree. Well spoken there.
Greymane Genji. Wow. Okay.
Changing it up.
Yeah.
I think somebody wants to hunt Phoenix.
No kidding. That is a lot of burst damage. Pretty scary. Last pick Tyrael might make a lot of sense actually from sponsored by Rory.
They used it very well in the first game. I don't see why you would go away from it here. But Diablo's available. Okay, Curse Bullet, but you want to throw that Ganjo around. You want to throw the Greymane around a little bit. And then I'm not sure where Team Dynamics wants to go with this off pick. You have a lot of... all of your damage on Sponsored by Rory is into the AA here. Genji
maybe
really
a
just a finisher.
That Jaina is still available, which has been very popular.
It would be a very small amount of hit points, though, for that team.
Yeah, she's very vulnerable to the Greymane Genji.
I would love to see Thrall. I'd love to see
Thrall
Tyrael here would just make me very happy. Okay, ETC.
And Thrall.
Close.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll take the Thrall.
I like that.
I got to get one prediction tonight. So I've got a half going so far. Last pick coming out here, 4 sponsored by Rory. We've been over the options here. Sonya is banned out. Leo, Dahaka, and option.
Yeah, it's got to be the Leoric, right?
I think so. I don't see why not. I don't know what Malthael is going to bring here.
I think he's just given the front line of dynamic. I don't know. I mean, Phoenix is going to pressure that Malthael so well, and then ETC can just give him a slide, throw out with the root. There's a lot of pressure there.
Just want to
Malthael might be a little risky.
Throw a quick shout out, Mr. Monkey Man, Graysville, Dartzendi, Instant French 2. Aura the Queen. Thank you all for the follows, guys. Much appreciated. 10 seconds left here. Sponsored by Rory, looking to pick up their last pick for Dragonshire. Okay.
Zagara. All right.
All right. Hey, why not?
Sure.
We talked about adjustments and maybe taking a chance.
Yeah.
That's a big chance.
That's definitely a big chance, I would say. There isn't too much burst on the side of Dynamics. I mean, if Thrall decides to go with Sundering over Earthquake, I think Zagara might be in a heap of trouble.
That's always a weird interaction. Thrall and anything, right? Because you Sunder, okay. Are you going to mess up ETC? Are you going to mess up Phoenix? But it objectively makes a ton of sense if you just want to break up the engage of Stukov and Garrosh. Maybe it struggles, it struggles a little bit into Greymane Genji. You'd rather have the Earthquake. But if you want to pop the Zag, you'd rather have Sunder. It's, again, like, anybody who's been playing Heroes for a super long period of time has an extensive amount of experience on Thrall. Because it's Thrall. He just fits in everywhere. But
he's Green Jesus.
Every game, you're trying to figure out, is it Sunder? Is it Earthquake? And I think they're both equally powerful here. I do believe it winds up just being... just a team-wide decision what they want to do with it here. But ready to head into game number 2. Start off with sponsored by Rory. Smithel will be playing the Admiral Stukov. Blue Laguna on the Genji. Aegir Bombs on Garrosh. Once again, Star Fox 64 will be playing the Greymane. And Aura will be jumping on that top lane Zagara.
And for Team Dynamics, we got Tempest on Phoenix. Summer Ash will be on the Blaze again. Raven X has moved over to Malfurion. Daribox from Maiev to Thrall. And then Captain Murmask on the beloved ETC.
Do you want a Maw? Or do you want a Nidus?
I'm not a big fan of Nidus.
I agree.
Yeah, I would much rather see Maw here.
It's not a big map. It really isn't. You can move around Dragonshire pretty easily.
Yeah.
You'd have something to stop the ETC. There's a quick lurking arm coming out from Smithville. Both teams trading here in mid.
Looks like it was about a 1 minion soak before getting to bottom on the side is sponsored by Rory. It's not too bad.
Agerbomb's here holding the throw. Captain Muramask allowed to pressure him out with a Dahaka there.
Genji's sharking around top, maybe pressuring the Blaze.
Take a peek up here. Let's see what's going on.
I decided to come home.
Summer should be fine. I think he knows what's up. Genji has yet to show. Once again, sponsored by Rory, going with a sort of a 1-1-3. They leave Smithville here in mid.
Star Fox has gone ahead and started the Giants. He's on Greymane. Shouldn't take him too long. And Tempest on the other side is doing the same.
Once again, a 4-man commit here from Team Dynamics for this camp. They've fallen behind on XP a little bit here. They did fall behind early in the first game as well. It obviously didn't wind up hurting them at the end, but they did lose the race to 10. I think their reticence to leave a hero in lane looks like it's going to cost them about a quarter level XP.
Good power slide, Root.
Well played by Captain Murmask. He holds the W as the right plays. Tempest's going to go in and get that kill.
Oh boy.
He went with a splash. Damage switched up. That maybe that repeater cannon does enough.
He's in trouble now. Oh, power slide will save him. Blue Lagoon actually getting the worst of that trade into Phoenix.
Zag winning top lane early here. Ravenx the only person that can delay out. He should have the Moonfire. There's one delay. 3-man commit here. I think he gets his Dragon Shield. Yeah. Took Phoenix a little while to get down there. Keep an eye on bottom lane.
Get a kill on Tempest bottom.
Should.
There you go. And he's going to be able to clean up these Giants.
Wow. And ETC. It looks like, I assume he got punted there. And the counter kill on Zagara. So there are things happening all over this map. I have no idea what's about to happen here. But we got a dragon running it down mid.
What did 555 has pointed out in chat that it's going to be Earthquake because of Purification Salvo, which does make a lot of sense.
That was an interesting little bit. There we go bottom to find the obvious kill that comes out onto Phoenix. Meanwhile, both Zag and ETC get deleted off the map. 1 level lead here for sponsored by Rory.
We got the double towers, then decided to cycle bottom. So that's a really good decision if you're looking to snowball early, trying to get that level 10 advantage. Just try and snipe as many towers as you can with your first Dragon Knight instead of going for the fort.
See if there's a flank here coming out from Captain Muramask. He winds up eating the weighted pustule. He'll have his Q to get out. And much like the first game, a 1 level lead after the first objective for sponsored by Rory.
4 towers. Pretty strong opener from sponsored by Rory.
Taking a peek at top lane. Zach taking a little bit of wall damage. The same for Blazes. He's actually missing that bottom wall there.
Looks like Thrall's going to come for the gank on her, too.
Let's see if he gets that W. Good.
Or jukes the W, so that should be okay. Sponsored by Rory going for the bottom night camp. They do have excellent clear on that with the Greymane.
Good anchor from Ager Bombs here. Captain Murmask knows something's up.
Yeah, he's been doing an excellent job all series long, really scouting out those bushes and making sure his team isn't getting collapsed on. Good positioning.
I'd like to see some push here from sponsored by Rory. They can easily get this gate and probably a well. But
he's doing a good job pressuring the mage.
Real easy cleanup there. I think Star Fox might have had an opportunity there to get a little bit of splash, maybe put a little bit of pressure. They'll be okay just taking the wall, but again, it looked like a well might have been the play there.
I think you're right for sure. As much as you can get pressure into that bottom lane for late game push, if you get a Dragon Knight or to open up the keep wall and then pressure with the Giants late in game, you're very powerful.
Camp grab here by Thrall, or winning this top lane matchup with Summer Ash.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how that was going to go. She's doing a good job.
Taking a peek there. He's used his tap, so that will be off the board. Meanwhile, the team's trading out camps. A little bit of pressure here from Blue Laguna, looking to Let's see if he can maybe make a play. They're all lined up. Keep an eye out here on Star Fox and the cocktail.
Good silence. Ooh, good Genji dash.
And Daribo winds up using the Q to get out there. ETC on the wrong side of the silence. It's sponsored by Rory in a big power position heading into the second Dragon phase. Or cleaning up top. She's low on mana. Will have to back for sure. Keep an eye on Thrall here. Let's see if Daribo can find himself a kill.
2/3 level before Sponsor by Rory hits 10. Should be pretty soon, and see if they can leverage that into a dragon.
Man, that's a lot of creep. Aura owning that top lane.
Playing against Zagara, that creep is a nuisance for sure.
Now, she is all in on top lane here.
You're in a lot of trouble bottom.
At the same time, Tempest getting pressured out as well. There's one kill. Genji should have an E. I did not see it. Holds it.
Power slide. He might die for this.
Here's the W. Does he have to jump over the wall?
Oh, there's the dash.
And there's a switch drive. In the meantime, sponsored by Rory winds up picking up the dragon. They will head for bot 4 here. Level 10's online. Little bit of a different look. Stukov going flailing swipe. We've got go for the throat from Greymane Warlord's challenge.
That is the Maw.
Dragon Blade and Maw. I do like this play. A lot of times the gut reaction, when you're up, is just to go Nidus, but I'm a big fan of Maw here. If you're going to go with Zagara, you've got to make up for her lack of team fight.
Yeah, I agree. I almost kind of anticipated the X-Drake on top of the Maw, but Dragon Blade will supplement a lot of damage as well.
Could have held it here. I actually would have been okay with it, with the Genji holding it. Do you get Trank and then go Dragon Blade? Do you get, T-Dream and then go X-Strike?
It's true. They do get the fort, so it's a good early advantage.
Summer Ash missing a jet propulsion on Zagara there, or able to squeak away by a thin margin. Sponsored by Roy, content to take a couple of forts out. They have a, 2-level lead coming out of this here? This will put them in a strong position to have the 13 advantage going to the next objective.
Commanding lead for sure. Twilight Dream is the decision, Purification, Salvo, Bunker. Still waiting on ETC and Thrall's decision.
So last game, the comeback by Team Dynamics was obvious. It was get to the objective, get on an even talent tier, hit your wombo. What is the play here going to be?
Sundering. Okay. Yeah, I think really good engagement opportunities with the Sunder, and then just try and get as much pressure with the Phoenix damage out, and then whittle them down.
ETC able to walk through the lurking arm there. Thought Aegir Bombs might have had an opportunity to pull the trigger there. Warlord's challenge being on such a low cooldown, you're going to have an opportunity to pop it before the next objective comes up.
A fairly low impact ultimate, but nonetheless strong. So it's easy to use often, and should be used in that manner.
And I'm hoping to see Sponsored by Rory immediately react with the enemy camp there. They a little bit of a slow play there. Possibly a missed opportunity, but it looks like they are thinking about the invade. Do they want 13 first?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Okay.
Greymane's going to soak that, Genji's going to soak bottom, and then they might have time to collapse on it if Anger Bomb goes now.
They're clearly playing for 13, but they had an opportunity there to get 2 out of the 3 camps in the bottom half of this map. Only picked up 1. Prog Rock finished up for ETC. We'll throw up our 13 talents. As Bomb gets the throw in there. The taunt comes out. Wow, Genji with 1 strip strike is going to get there.
Dream and Sundering.
Both abilities used. Purification Salvo does not connect on Greymane. That was definitely the intended target. Blue Laguna hopping out. Another throw, and this time it's got Thrall. The Silence Pool comes out, and Star Fox will confirm the second kill.
Anger Bomb's coming in huge this game. Those Garrosh combos are just too much for Team Dynamic.
He didn't have the space in the first game to play aggressive post 10. Here he's got it.
Yeah. Big difference. See if they bring this to bottom and keep front wall. Looks like they're going to go for the fort mid.
I absolutely want to see them pressure keep bottom here. I think if the Zagara has the ability to just come down and immediately take this fort for basically free. They keep Aura up top as Blaze rotates down. So last game, Malf and Stukov switching places.
Yeah.
And low.
I think Smithle's doing a much better job on this Stukov, I think.
But it just seems like
a lot safer.
Both teams are maybe not quite comfortable with the Malfurion right now. Again, you have Raven switching over. This is a new role for him. Malfurion, obviously, a tough play. But the common thread in the first two games, out of the support play, has just been low impact Malf.
Yeah, effectively. I mean, a good Twilight Dream coming out again this fight, but it was just too late.
Ooh, keep an eye on
he was already dead.
I expect a mosh at some point here. There's the W. He's got Star Fox trapped. The jump and the swipe. Let's see if everybody gets out of here.
Oh,
Good.
Tried to dry mosh there, was interrupted.
Good interrupt. Team Dynamics trying to get the chase there. There's Purification Salvo. Darbyl will have a lot of chase with Thrall. Keep an eye on Genji on the back line here as he's going for Raven. Does he have the ice block?
There it is.
Oh, great
Good.
ice block and mosh. Malf winds up going down.
Smithel with a huge silence.
I
Gets
think
the kill on Moth and the interrupt on ETC.
But it does allow them to get the trade onto the Garrosh. Blue Lagoon, I believe he's used all his abilities here. Okay, there's the E. So they get the kill on Mouth, but again, that combo of the Mosh and the Ice Block allowed that Garrosh kill to be picked up. A 1-for-1 trade. 16, however, is going to be picked up for sponsored by Rory.
Looks like Dynamics going to get a camp out of the engagement, though. So a net win for them.
Meanwhile, Aura.
Top lane.
You dirty AFK PvE Zagara.
Blaze doing his best to keep up, but not as much siege damage, for sure.
We do take a little pot shot at Aura here, but listen, anytime you're playing Zagara in a competitive match and you're not dying, I think you're doing an okay job.
Yeah,
there's a huge target on your back every time you pick that hero.
She has such a small HP pool.
Oh, the throw over the wall. Captain Murnas, does he get out there? He's going to be chased down by Blue Laguna. Looks like Ganjo will pick that kill up and a little bit of chase here. There's the E. The shield is gone for Tempest. The Star Fox want to pull the trigger. Doesn't need to.
There it is.
Thundering.
Thunder comes out too.
This is a long walk, and Aegir Bombs has stayed mounted the whole time. That is going to be the end of Daribo.
This is a disaster. The Dragon Knight is coming up. And they can steal this guy. Oh, they're going to go right for the wall?
Picking up the wall here opens up the win condition. Picking up the wall here, because you just have already picked up 3 kills, is going to allow you to take that Dragon Knight, barrel down bottom lane, and pick up a keep. I like the play here. A shout out to Blue Laguna on the Genji. Patience, but at the same time, he's gotten great offensive value out of his deflect every time he has gone in.
Oh, they're going to go for the camp as well.
There's
going to be an opportunity to stop this Dragon Knight in middle, but they don't have 16s on the side of Dynamics yet.
This is a good patient play here from Sponsored by Rory. They're setting themselves up. Someone will have to take care of bottom. ETC and Malfurion for the delay. They're going to have to give this up. They've got 2 guys bottom. There's the slide out. This should be bottom keep.
Bring all 5 down now, I would say. Aura should make her way down shortly.
Or
this is potentially a game-ending.
Let that fort go, BB. Let it go. I want... Just come down. Give me the maw. End the game.
Yeah. Honestly. Dragon Knights scale so hard.
I think
they're going to need some minion wave here.
But
the Dragon Knight's going to take a lot of damage from the keep.
2 kills should be game here. 16 will be picked up. We'll keep an eye on the talents here for Team Dynamics. The top lane battle still going on.
Smith will uses his flailing arm. Looks like they're going to get the keep and...
Probably nothing else.
Posturing to back out, yeah.
Yeah. Top laner staying top here. There's an opportunity for a little bit of chase here. Keep an eye on Sundering. It's going to have to get a lot of value. That bottom, he's got 1 wall up. Does he pull the trigger and try to pin him in? Oh, that's going to cost them. Yep, and Star Fox will go down.
As I say it, he pulls the trigger anyways.
Team Dynamics picks up a kill. They're 3rd of the game. And now the march to 20 begins. Hi, Aura. Just wanted to let her know that we didn't forget about her up there, top lane.
She got the fort, so she's done her job.
Mission accomplished.
She moves to that Merc camp top lane as well.
16th picked up. Building into the Q on Phoenix.
DC taking a lot of damage here.
They need this fort for sure. I mean, they need they need the fort and a kill in order to at least pressure the wall. And they'll play back here. 20 seconds left on Greymane. I'm looking for the aggressive play from Team Dynamics. Thrall gets thrown in here. He should have Ancestral healing up. There's the taunt coming out. That's going to wind up costing the Garrosh there.
Yep.
Ancestral healing. What am I saying
low,
there?
but he gets out.
Ancestral Wrath.
Twilight Dream. Oh, you're talking about... Oh, yeah. I thought he might have had Sunder off cooldown as well, but guess not.
Team Dynamics here starting the comeback. 20 will be picked up for sponsored by Rory shortly.
Captain Murr.
280, 300. Okay.
Wow. Oh, Prog Rock. Gonna keep him alive there. Pretty close.
That was tight. They should be able to get the wall here. 20 about to be picked up again for Rory, but 30 seconds left on the Garrosh comeback.
Smith will be in his annoying self with that silence. Gonna force him back a little bit.
Team Dynamics here get a little bit of value, but it's not enough to create the win condition.
So we do have level 20 Hunter's Blunderbuss coming up for Greymane, which is going to make his ranged auto attack splash. A huge, huge power play for Greymane, and then the Dragon Becomes Me for Genji also very, very big.
This is a 4v3 bottom lane. Captain
Greymane
Mermes.
is
Does he?
moving off on his own. Okay.
Okay. I
Jumps
was
right out.
anxious. Yeah, I was anxious to see if Mermes wanted to go in on the Stukov there. It looks like did not have range.
Pause.
Okay.
Your chat is really active. Holy crap.
Yeah, I got a lot of loudmouths.
It's good.
I'm trying to, let's poke out. Glaucus 37, what's happening, buddy? Park 555, I see you there. Beluga Senin, populating the chat as well.
So how do you think Team Dynamics is coming back in this game? What's their win condition?
They've got a level to go before they're going to hit 20. They have not put pressure on top lane. And no. I think if they're going to have an opportunity here to get to 20 and maybe take this game, I think they just need to go get a snap kill on the Zagara. They haven't picked one up today, and that's been a problem.
I mean, Aura's been doing a great job with her creep spread, so if she's watching that minimap, it's pretty hard to sneak up on her.
Right, and she's got the fort and a well behind her as well, in addition. All right, so both teams are ready. We'll get our count going in game here. Can I hit the pause break button? Hey, there we go, Bobo.
Successful.
And our game is back on. Yeah, the inability to, like I said, specifically grab that Zagara in the top lane and put any pressure on her really makes this comeback difficult. They're likely staring at a fight over the dragon capture down a talent tier.
Yeah.
We're in a little bit of a Hail Mary situation here. Still have Mosh.
Anything can happen with a good...
Hey! Aura.
There she is. She's joining the fight.
Oh, she gets a good bit of damage onto the Malfurion there. The Lurking Arm is out. I'd like to see Team Dynamics, if they're going to go for any engage, it's got to be right now. Malfurion gets taken out. Wow. Star Fox sharking for the kill. He uses go for the throat. Escaping with about 200 HP. In the meantime, Smithel using the swipes. That is a kill. And that should be, at the very least, a dragon.
Dragon this late in the game.
Oh, Aegir Bombs finds himself a thrall. Another swipe. Star Fox under a bit of pressure here. Good jet propulsion on the back by Summeresh, but he does not quite have the damage to take out Greymane. Sponsored by Rory looking to get back out again. Aegir Bomb's hunting. Let's see if he's got himself a throw. Blaze looking like he's going to go down. He bunkers with about 1 HP. Let's see if he can get out.
Huge maw.
Good play by Blue Lagoon waiting him out.
Deal.
Yeah, and that should be the cleanup kills. Thrall goes down. Blaze gone. In addition, the ETC gone. Sponsored by Rory. In a position here to earn the draw. You know, we were waiting all...
Greymane in the Dragon Knight, so that is some potentially lost damage.
Suboptimal, but I don't think it matters with 3 kills.
Yeah.
You know, we teased her all game. We teased
job.
Aura.
Yeah.
Just didn't want to pop in. But you know what? 1 for 1 on the Moss.
She did it. What it counts.
She's shooting 100%. Shooting 100% right there.
shooting from the hip, shooting 100%.
Quick taunt going out on to Phoenix. There's an extra kill. A shout out to Aegir Bombs. I think he did a fantastic job in this second game, controlling the battlefield on his Garrosh. Sponsored by Rory, earning themselves a point. Way to tie for last, though. Smithel, we're still down there, buddy. You're not in the last.
Well, it looks like both of our teams gonna get their first point of the season tonight.
Absolutely, 15-4 in terms of kills there. Blue Laguna on the Genji, something to keep an eye out for. He went 10-0 in that game.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. That Genji play was spot on. Big shout outs to Agar Bombs as well. I felt like he did a great job on that front line. And Smithel with the lurking arms at the end of the game were pretty big.
Yeah, we talked about a little bit in the game there, the flip between Malfurion and Stukov. Um, I think this game is just shows you how much stronger Stukov is than Malfurion. These two games.
Certainly
Malfurion,
for these teams.
yeah, Malfurion. It's just it's a more difficult support to pull off. I mean, it just is, to be objective about that hero right now.
I think it might require more coordination because the healing does come out so much slower than the burst potential from Stukov.
I agree. The other thing we've also been seeing across all levels of play is a little bit more tranquility.
Yeah.
It forces you to maybe build your comp a little bit differently, but it's showing up. And
Here and
maybe,
there for sure.
yeah, maybe going forward, if you don't feel like you're getting value out of T Dream, just take the Trank. You still get to cast your spells.
Mm-hmm.
You still have access to Root and Moonfire as well. That's just something to sort of keep an eye out for.
You more or less negate the Dragon Blade there as well.
Agree.
Trank.
Agree. All right, so we are going to have a quick chat with Raven. Let's jump into a room with him. What's happening, buddy?
Hey, what's up?
All right, first point of the season.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
First set on support. Let's start off with that. What's going on?
Well, our team, as you know, we were 0-4 starting the season. Last season, as you know, I played strictly range DPS. But with the team this season, we've run into some troubles where we always had one person in a role where we weren't confident that they were going to do well. So Darabo is well, before Tempest joined the team, Darabo was arguably our strongest player. So I decided, all right, well, I'm going to throw you in a damage role, let you do what you do, and I'm going to go ahead and play backline with the support and try and make calls from the support role, because making calls from the damage role for me is really difficult because I'm focused so much on my micro that I can't really look at the map too much.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. I mean, shot calling from DPS is typically pretty difficult to do. Support will make that a lot easier.
Second game, there on Dragon Char, looked like you guys just kind of struggled a little bit to get a foothold. And one thing we noticed, just didn't have the access to the wombo that you wanted. A couple of points there, it just seems like you couldn't quite find the even talent tier fight you wanted as that game progressed.
Yeah, so we built this comp around Phoenix, and I think we've kind of figured out that he's not first pick material. So the Stukov, as we used against them game one, gave us a lot of problems because we couldn't position anywhere where we weren't silenced, and then thrown, and just the positioning game was constantly against us there. So I definitely think that we're gonna retool that comp if we play it again and drop Phoenix down a little bit lower in the priority.
And on the flip side, in that first game, we'll get into the wombo and the efficacy that you guys had there, but you lone range damage Junkrat. So second game, you're picking the quote unquote top DPS, and in that first game, just to start off, were you aiming for the Hanzo? Was it always Junkrat? And then why go with the Junkrat there? And just like I said, out of curiosity, we saw that draft develop. We thought you were going to go in a different direction. Obviously, it worked out. But what was it? What were you going through in draft there?
We actually built that comp as you saw it. It was very much a wombo. The only thing that we changed on that is we were looking at the possibility of Alexstrasza because it is her best map, and we decided we're gonna use Stukov and make use of his silence pool under the Maiev cage, and it worked out really well because they couldn't do anything once they got inside that cage and were all silenced.
All right.
Yes.
Junkrat, his his ult hits for a ton. He scales well into the late game. He has a great wave clear and shrine clear, and then once he gets Riptire out, anybody who's in that cage and silenced is probably dead.
All right, on. Famous, any questions?
Yeah, I really want to hit up on that Hanzo question as well. What about Thrall ultimates in the second game there? Were you guys debating the Earthquake, or was it always going to be the Sunder?
That was actually my mistake. We built the comp around the Phoenix slow, getting as much damage out as possible. And I told Darabo, hey, I think we're gonna need the Sunder here to help. Well, he brought it up. He said, hey, maybe we can use Sunder to knock Stukov out of his silence. And then it just ultimately didn't mesh well with the Phoenix, and it didn't do much for us in the long run. So that was, like I said, my ultimately was my call and my mistake to be made there.
Fair enough. I felt like the Sundering wasn't a bad decision, but definitely the combo potential between Phoenix and Thrall with the Earthquake was a little bit of a lost opportunity, which we didn't even think about when we were talking about it ourselves. Was pointed out in chat.
All right, the extra
slow.
damage. Yeah, the extra damage for the slow. It's always what we were talking about is that it's always a question of whether or not you feel like you need Sunder just to break up what the enemy team does. Are you going to play from a position of power with Earthquake, or where do you sort of fit those in? It's always a tough question. I go back and forth for sure. But Raven, before we let you go, any shout outs?
The entire team. Game one, first win of the season for us. I think we've kind of got our place as to how we want to play. I think we're a very aggressive team. We're going to keep playing that way. So anybody who wants to come at us, feel free.
Right on, brother.
That's awesome. Congratulations on your first map win.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Hey, have a good night, man. I'm sure I'll catch you soon.
Yep.
All right. And now, for the one, the only, Smithel.
Hey, what's up, gentlemen? How's it going?
A belated birthday wish to you, sir.
Hey, thanks. Getting old, getting slow on these reactions. I'm realizing this is a game for you young folks.
But wisdom, always.
That is true. That is true.
All right, so let's take a peek at that first game.
Yeah, first game was a little bit of a heartbreak for us. I mean, we felt like we recognized right away that they were going to out-rotate us, so we weren't going to be able to do kind of the 1-4 that you typically see.
Mm-hmm.
And we felt okay with that. I mean, we got the first objective. We felt that we were going to be able to kind of run into that. We knew from the beginning that all we had to do was not clump, and we had a chance. But for some reason, whatever it was, old habits are hard to break, and when you're fighting on a map like that where it's kind of hard not to clump if you're fighting on an objective, we kind of started to naturally do that. And that wombo combo between Maev and Stukov was just unreal. I mean, I couldn't get any heals off. I couldn't get my silence off to kind of counteract it. It was a rough go, and even after it happened the first time that I think we all team wiped except for our Phoenix, we said, okay, let's not do that again, and we did it like 2 or 3 more times after that. So I mean, it was something we knew exactly what we shouldn't have done, but for some reason or another, we kept doing it. So it definitely hurt, felt bad. We kind of joked internally that during the coin flip, Ray sat there and said, hey, why don't we just not play and split it 1-1 since we're both at the end anyway. So it's like, look, we threw that game.
Just going through the motions.
we picked up round 2, so we both can still sit comfortably in that last spot in Division A East. So but I mean, no, they played a hell of a game 1. I mean, it's you could tell they knew exactly what they needed to do once they hit 10, and they just executed it well.
A noticeable change from the first game to the second game. It seemed like in the first game you guys had trouble sort of hitting the R buttons at the same time. It looked like you wanted, it looked like individual members wanted the engagements at different moments. And in the second game on Dragonshire, with a more aggressive damage setup, but at the same time, many of the same parts with the Garrosh up front. You guys look totally different. I mean, did you clean it up in comms? Is this something you were targeting between games? Was it maybe playing some more comforts? What is the big difference in the 4-man, especially from game 1 to game 2?
Well, like I said, I mean that first game, the silence really threw it off, and you were kind of right in what you said regarding the fact that we were all hitting R's at different times. Because after that first team wipe, we didn't really know how to preemptively counter that Wombo. So, I would run in as a Malfurion, try to get a silence off early, and then we didn't have the follow up, or they would just kind of wait it out and then do the Wombo combo, and it was I think kind of a panic moment of how do we counter this with what we have, and just nothing was quite working. But game 2, we kind of sat there and said, look, we all kind of agreed Malfurion may have been the right pick as far as supports were, but we didn't want them to get the Wombo or the silence on us again. So we sat there, we banned out the Maiev, understanding that they would probably first pick Phoenix, and we knew if we could just kind of keep Phoenix on the back end, on its heels, and not really able to kind of come up and engage on us with that laser, that we'd have a chance. Also, ETC is kind of one of the squishiest tanks in the game, and so we sat there and said, look, if he ever dives in aggressively, just kill him, or if we get the flip, immediately kill him. And so we tried to do that as best we could, at least to get him low, if not kill him, and scare him out. But we felt by taking away that Wombo, which is kind of what we struggled with, we were able to kind of open up a little bit more with what we were doing. Aura, she's a good Zag player, so we decided to throw her up on top. She kept asking throughout the game, like, hey, do you want us to join? Do you want us to join? And we figured if we could keep Blaze out of the fight and just kind of counter-soaking her,
okay,
that,
I wasn't sure if
that would be okay.
I wasn't sure if that was her being stubborn or you guys just liking it, because listen, we teased her, throughout the game, but no deaths. She shows up once at level 20, hits a maw, gets a win.
Yeah, she kept saying, like, hey, you want me to team fight? You want me to team fight? And we just kept saying, no, you're doing okay with the Blaze, and Blaze is going to cause all kinds of shit for us down here.
I mean, you like at the last second, like the clock is ticking, you just brought the 3-point shooter off the bench and said, just hit this. I just thought it was great. Like I said, we were waiting. She took Maw, didn't take Nidus, and I said, one Maw, one win.
Yeah, and that was, and the Maw was exactly kind of for that, is she did kind of want to sit there and get in on the team fights, more than she did, but we were doing okay. What we were doing was working, so we didn't really want to kind of switch up too much. So it probably wasn't the most make sense pick, I guess, if you're looking at it, saying, hey, if you're going to be just split pushing and soaking, you should probably go network. But we said, look, take the Maw if you need to use it, even as a get out of jail free card in the top lane against the Blaze. Or if they try to gank you, you have it available to you. And we felt that this just basically hanging out top and just getting that soak, we were kind of splitting between the lanes okay, or kind of anchoring one person in a lane while we went and got camps. So it wasn't too terribly bad for us. I mean, if she would have went network, we probably would have actually been giving up more lanes. Lane soak than we would have otherwise, because then we would have been losing that top soak.
I agree. Famous, you got anything for the man here?
Yeah, I mean, I want to compliment your Stukov play in the second game. I think you were a much more impactful support. You had really big silences and then really big flailing swipes.
Yeah. I mean, Stukov is kind of a love of mine. I don't think he's the best support in the world. I get why you take him, because he brings a lot of utility. But if they're going to be playing a team that's kind of like jump on you, then you don't really want him. But it was more or less at that point we didn't want the other team to take him. And so it kind of worked out. I mean, there's a couple times the swipes, like you said, we got people out of bad predicaments. But the one thing we were significantly better at in this game was, Ager played a fantastic Garrosh, in my opinion. And if somebody was going to die, we just said, let him die, and the rest of us got the hell out. That's something that we've kind of struggled with, and we're getting better is understanding. Look, you can't save everybody. It's better to lose one, have four to defend a fort, and then go from there. So I mean, it's pretty good. I know, as we're kind of looking at drafts, Park kind of is taking a little bit of a coach role for our team. He's our support sub. But during drafts, he sits there and kind of talks out, what we're seeing, what we're anticipating, maybe him to do, things like that. And so, he kind of does help us through in that regard of saying like, hey, look, shit, they took a Maiev. What should we do? If we kind of get stumped, he's very good at kind of, giving us a little bit of a heads up in that regard as to what he thinks would be a good call. So that's helped. We also brought in Star Fox. He's a new player to the team. Kodam typically plays for us. We gave him the night off. We're trying to rotate in, more people. We don't view subs as, saying subs. We kind of like, giving everybody a little bit of a chance to play. But we wanted to give Star Fox an opportunity. This is actually the first time we played with him as a team. We didn't get a chance to try him out, but we just knew we had a deficit to fill.
Right on. He did well in that second game.
Yeah,
Sharked out that mouth kill, which was the sort of the snowball in that team fight that ended the game for sure. I like what he did on that Greyman.
He's very good about kind of calling targets, and that's something that we struggled with in the past. Ager's actually gotten a lot better with it as he's kind of taken more of the main tank role, is saying, hey, this is who I'm going on. This is what we need to focus. He also has good camp pressure, and he kind of knows, this is when we need to get camps and keep things going. So despite the fact we couldn't kind of find that groove in game one, game two, he was always on the giant camps whenever we needed it, and invading, their camps likewise. So, yeah, I mean, it was all around good play, I think, from everybody. Game two, it felt good to get a win under our belt after losing both games last week and dropping the first one here tonight. So we're hoping to kind of continue into that tomorrow, but I know that's going to be a tough fight as well.
All right, buddy. Hey, I wish you well, at least until we run up against you in a couple of weeks, I assume. But
I'm sure.
Before I let you go, any shout-outs?
Nothing big here. I mean, just to the team. I think it's nice to kind of see that the communication issues are getting better. We're improving dramatically. So I like what I see. I'm hoping that it's a good sign for us for things to come, and we don't continue to kind of wipe like we did in week one. But baby steps.
All right, buddy. All the best going forward.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for cast.
Cheers. All right, so that wraps up the first half of my doubleheader. If you guys want to go and shark around, see if you can find yourself another NGS game, I implore you to do so. You can check out everything that our NGS caster group has through the Nexus Gaming Series community. I will be back in about 40 minutes. We have a Division D matchup. I want to thank Famous for jumping in with me here on the CoCast. Always appreciate it. Just real quick here, let's go ahead and throw up my upcoming schedule. Get that map out of there. Right now, I only have a Friday doubleheader booked. We'll do some Div C East and some Heroic Div games. Weekend is in a little bit of flux there. Still got to make some plans, see what's kind of going on. I want to give a quick shout-out as well to the people that follow me during that game. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Mr. Monkey Man, Pilot of Earth, Atlantis AL. Thanks a whole bunch, guys. Every single follower. Makes it more likely that I'm going to grab way too many games and keep this going. So once again, I've been your host, Professor Bobo. I will be back in about 40 minutes. Check out some NGS action in the meantime, and I hope to catch you guys soon.